Hey guys, again, it's JPS Trading with episode 5 of Trading to a Million. This is Thursday actually, and this was quite an interesting day. You'll probably see by the title, I actually make a loss on this day. Sorry to spoil it. But I'm pretty happy with how I traded and how I handled myself in the whole situation. So, early on, it's not very close to 8. I am again taking a earlier trade than I generally would. From what I can see, I got a feeling that the market's going to rally today. There was some indications that the market could sell off, but by about 80% of my strategy, I felt like I was right to that sort of percentage, that the market was going to continue on the run that it did. So I was just basically just assessing, looking at some higher time frames on a few of these global indexes that I usually look at, as you've probably seen in the videos. And now I'm just providing you just an update a little bit further on. So we're approaching 8 o'clock now, which is obviously, as you're probably aware, the first volatility spike that we see in our trading day that we're following. So obviously we're hoping that this is going to be towards the upside for that. So we just saw a little bit of an uptick there, which was reasonable. Nothing too crazy, but we see there's a bit of selling pressure moving in there. So what we're looking to do here is obviously we've got a couple different options. If we're still pretty happy with the overall trend, we can always increase. But right at this moment, it just seems like there is still a little bit of a way till the market opens. So I wasn't really inclined to increase that risk by too much at this point in time, at the very least. So from here, obviously I'm just doing some further analysis, and now I'm seeing the global futures selling off, which was a little bit odd. And then from there as well, a little bit later into about 9:20 that we're seeing at the moment, I saw something quite interesting that, look, if some of you guys use IG or other brokers, you've probably seen some weird movements like this. Like this CFD will trade before the Aussie market opens, will trade pretty closely to what the US futures are doing, but we'll see things like liquidity spikes or supply shock, or whatever you'd like to call it. Just basically where large positions are basically just getting offloaded. So obviously when you're at a shorter or a smaller broker like this, or even when volume's at all-time low, you probably just saw that large spike on the price, and obviously thankfully we were on the right end of that position. But that wasn't necessarily a market move, which can obviously stop some people out in high volatile times. So that there isn't really a true indication of where the market should be. It's still 9:45. Obviously, I'm just giving you an update now. Now it is actually 9:45, and you can see the price showed some selling pressure and then held up. But then as we're getting closer to 9:50, I'm seeing some selling coming in, which is almost preempting a sell-off going into the open of the futures. So I actually make a very conscious decision here, which I was quite happy with. So obviously we know when we're seeing a bit of selling off before a high volatility spike, we can indicate that people are trying to preempt a move. So what we see here actually is I get the feeling that the market's going to sell off in the coming minutes. So as you'll see in the clip, I actually decide to close that position that I have in anticipation of this. So I've just sped up this clip just to about 2 speed, just before 9:50, so about 9:49 at the moment. I actually decided to close this right before the open of 9:50, and as you will see how this plays out. So I decided to close that. I'm now waiting for the open, and I'm hoping for a downtick, which obviously it did. Now that's no, I can't tell the future or anything like that, but then it dropped. But obviously my overall opinion on the market, I still think the market's going to go up, so I decided to buy there. So basically, as you can see here, this is sped up quite a bit. The market did go into my favor, come back down, tick back up again. I was very on the fence of what I'd done. I could have taken some profit about $90 at the peak, but I wasn't aware, obviously, where I was going to go. So I decided I had a stop loss level that I was happy to take, which unfortunately it did hit my level there, which you'll see me just get taken out there, which is unfortunate.